Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode this week. This time, the full-on main episode of SwaggBae After Dark. I am, of course, your host, SwaggBae. Even though at the time of recording this, I'm not actually doing this after dark because I feel like I'm going to be going on for quite a bit for this episode. So just stick with me because I got a good amount to talk about here in this episode. I don't know how long it's going to be. I assume this is going to be an hour length like it was for episode 1. But again, we'll see. Whatever happens, it happens and whatnot. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and move my mic just so that way get it better angled for the video. For those of you who are watching on the YouTube side or the Spotify video podcast. I'm just going to adjust really quick. So hold on a second. Okay, I think that should be good enough. I hope so. All right, because I don't want to push it too much. Okay, so I got as I just mentioned, a whole minute ago, multiple things to discuss. I'm gonna start things off with Discord and YouTube. Well, I only am taking a bit when I say this, but we're gonna be. I want to talk about both Discord and YouTube, but I want to first go over YouTube because this was the most recent, as in this happened last night. But I'm gonna take a little bit of time to try to load up an article, well, not, but YouTube for some reason last night. For those of you who are planning to watch videos or whatnot, even on like TV, was actually down. And this felt like such a huge thing and whatnot. But either way, we're gonna read the article right here from Tom's Guide. So YouTube was unavailable for users for multiple hours on February 17th, 2026. That is yesterday, by the way, at the time of recording this. Which at the time of recording this is Wednesday the 18th, but the day that you're going to be watching the episode or listening to it is the 20th of February. But yes, going back into the article from Tom's Guide, YouTube was unavailable for users for multiple hours on February 17th, 2026 after an outage hit Google's video streaming service, affecting both the website and the app. The US West Coast reported the most issues with YouTube during the outage, which impacted more than 30,000 YouTube users at its peak. Initial reports of problems with YouTube started to spike around 5:30 p.m. Pacific or 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and there are still reports of issues, which they're going to be reporting a little bit more as you go on. And we are going to be reading a bit more right here. Graded, obviously, it said greater than 30,000 U.S.-based YouTube users experiencing issues with the platform at 8:45 p.m. Eastern and whatnot. The West Coast being, of course, the most impacted according to Down Detector. Wow. I know I was having a bit of issues when it came to me with using the platform yesterday, but as far as like video loading and whatnot, it wasn't really a huge issue on that part. It was just mainly the sidebar was missing, so it probably was. I had a feeling that it was a bit of issue with the platform yesterday night, but either way, that was crazy. I don't remember the last time that we had YouTube or whatnot having issues all over the platform. I want to say maybe it was like a few years ago, but again, I can't really say for certain because it's been a while since we've seen YouTube shit the brick or whatnot with its like interface and with every bit of, with like the bit of like the algorithm and whatnot breaking. But hey, it is what it is, and that's something I can't really do much about. And the most recent, okay, sorry, I'm always going back. I meant to switch back to screen share for this. This looks like an update here. Are you still experiencing issues with YouTube? In the most recent update at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, Down Detector was showing 638 outage reports for YouTube, which is slightly up from the previous update. These could be isolated events, especially when there's not much activity on social media from users about the service not working properly. Man, I mean that I'm not saying that I'm quite say getting issues on the platform, but it is something to keep an eye on. Like if there's any bit of issues or whatnot, it's definitely a good idea to just let it be known. Like if you have to use a website like Down Detector to report this, hey, go ahead. But either way, yeah, that was pretty fucked. I'm trying to get my notes up for quite a second. Well, I say notes, I mean like how I have the episodes organized. Because again, despite the fact that I mostly speak from the heart and whatnot, I also have some sort of structure, as I put in the description for the podcast. So there'll still be a bit of structure. I'll still be doing topics or whatnot that I'll discuss. But for the most part, it's just gonna be what I remember off of the top of my head. For these episodes, of course. But yeah, that was something that was a huge issue with with YouTube yesterday, which we didn't really feel that huge. But we're not gonna go right into Discord, and this will kind of the whole this part of the episode will kind of segue into the next topic a little bit. But this involves something that has been a really huge problem or whatnot for privacy's sake, and that has to do with the required use of ID for various services. YouTube being unfortunately part of that party or whatnot, and now we can officially add Discord to the list because they're now starting to do their own implementation, their enshittification, if you will, of IDs on the platform. So this is the article from The Verge right here, which is written back on February 9th. Beginning in March, all accounts will have a teen-appropriate experience by default. Announced on Monday. This was like last week. This was last Monday when this article came out. Discord announced on Monday that it's rolling out age verification to its platform globally starting next month, when it will automatically set all users to a teen-appropriate experience unless they demonstrate they're adults. Now, this here is a big red flag because for those who aren't aware, hold on, let me exit out of full screen. For those who aren't aware of why I'm saying that this is a huge problem, is that back at the end of the year, or almost the end of the year, Discord, for whatever reason, ended up having a lot of accounts leaked, or a lot of data leaked from their platform. I technically use Discord like every single day to talk to people and whatnot, and this is a pretty alarming issue. But the TLDR from Discord's official site basically says that the company had discovered some sort of an incident in which a party compromised one of their vendors or whatnot. Even though they claim right here, it says this was not a breach of Discord, but breach of their third-party provider, 5CA. 70,000 of accounts on the whole platform right here. Well, I mean on Discord. 70% of platforms were impacted by this, that may have had ID photos exposed, according to this sentence right here, which, and I quote, our vendor used to review age-related appeals. So again, this I can happily link these in the description for the episode on YouTube. So if you want to go check out these articles, if I get the chance to do so, then you can. But I bring this up because this is a pretty glaring issue. This is a major red flag that cannot be ignored, because like first and foremost, I am a strong supporter of privacy online. I want to keep my shit away from others, and this is an invasion of, and the whole thing is an invasion of privacy, much like with YouTube and IDs on the platform, is literally to remove anonymity. Any sake of protection from like government intervention or whatnot. But either way, I don't have a whole lot to discuss on that front, but it really sets a really bad precedent. And if they don't really start backpedaling this, there's going to be like, well, when I say when they don't start backpedaling this, I mean Discord, like as a company. If they don't start backpedaling on this decision, they're going to lose a lot of users within the next year or so, or better yet, the next couple months, because the implementation is not going to go into effect until next month on the 9th or something, on March 9th or wherever it is. It's early next month that this is being implemented into Discord, and it is a dangerous sign of things going forward. Like at least on the YouTube, I'm not trying to defend YouTube when I say this, but at least when YouTube has a whole thing with verification, at least there's a video verification, and then that's it. And for the most part, like you could either have the ID, or the video verification, or verify with the credit card usage. But verify with if you have like a bank account, then you can do that. But I can see why one wouldn't work. Again, I'm not defending YouTube when I say this, because I don't like the newer verification bullshit on YouTube, and now especially so for Discord, because again, as I've reiterated just a minute ago, they will lose users if things don't change in the platform. But again, that's going to be a topic for another day, because sorry, I'm trying to just breathe here. I meant to get water before starting the episode recording and whatnot. But either way, yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad for sake of privacy and whatnot. No, that's a a core like part of freedom, like in the States or whatnot, revoked. And now we can finally segue into the other thing I want to discuss. And that has to do with a guy that I have never watched before, within the last year. I'm saying until last year. Like I've heard mixed reactions and whatnot from family and friends, about them, like as a person and like their show. But this has to do. I'm just gonna try to post this to pull up both videos. I'm gonna try to also just mute audio just in case that I have, just in case it starts playing. But basically, this involves the well-known talk show host / comedian Stephen Colbert. For whatever reason, I don't know why YouTube's now not loading on my screen. I literally talked about it. Like I had that earlier, and now YouTube was just like refusing to load. There we go. I was trying to get the videos loaded, but I'm not going to play every bit of clips, but I will at least show the clip from the Late Show overnight on overnight on Monday night. But basically, the short version of it is that James Tallarico, a Democrat candidate from Texas running for the state Senate, was on the show, and network executives from CBS, which is the network that hosts The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, were not happy with the fact that they had Tallarico on the show. I'm not going to explain why it decided, or like, I'm not going to explain like the background of Tallarico as a person, because again, I like this podcast is not really something. This is not really like a political podcast or whatnot. I'll talk about political issues, but I'm not going to like. I'm not going to be someone that's going to be like heavily delve into politics. But either way, this definitely felt like a similar situation to that of when Colbert got news about his show being canceled by the CBS staff last May. I kept on saying last May, it has, even though May has not arrived yet this year. But either way, this felt very similar to that announcement, and let's say people have been coming out in support of Colbert, and also in support of Tallarico, because in spite of the fact that the show didn't air, not show, in spite of the fact that the interview didn't air on national television on CBS, Colbert did the absolute ballsiest thing, and he decided to say, fuck you, I'm going to release it right here on YouTube. And he did. It's at over 6.6, or actually no, 6.2 million views right now, with over 635,000 likes to 3.3 thousand dislikes. That is almost amazing. I'm not a huge binge watcher of late night TV, but what I will say here is that this shit that Tallarico says here is like so true to me as a person, and all I will say is that have your like keep it like what's the word? I'm trying to get like the word, like the right word. Like, keep the, like, if you are debating with others, keep it calm. Like don't be an ass. Just listen to others' points and whatnot, and come up with like an unbiased opinion. And yeah, all I'll say is that I'm happy that you decided to say fuck you to the network and just release it, because I mean, like, again, I just mentioned like seconds ago, his show was announced to be ending next year. Well, I want to say at the time it was May 2025. I can't believe I'm saying this, so now we're literally going to be 3 months away from when the Late Show with Colbert is going to end. But either way, this is this is like quite this is quite the story to hear and whatnot. I'm pretty sure other late night talk hosts, obviously Jon Stewart, I feel Jon Stewart would probably talk about it. It's like a quick pop up during the Daily Show sometime in the week, even though he already did his Monday episode. I feel like he would probably do a quick one. I'm certain Kimmel will probably talk about it and whatnot. But yeah, like as I mentioned, this really feels a similar to the announcement of Colbert's show being canceled. But I'm just glad that, again, people are rallying on Colbert for being brave and putting this interview up. And that is all I'm going to really say about it, because my brain is getting all foggy around the subject. No. So, I will say, in the kind of segueing away from that to some kind of political news and whatnot, but it involves my high school, as in a place I graduated from before going to college back in 2018, which I can't believe I'm saying is going to be 8 years in June. It's going to be 8 years in June since I graduated high school. But anyway, I'm going to try to pull up the video. I don't know if it'll play, but I'm just going to I'm going to at least... Actually, no, that's not it. Okay, I'm kind of looking right here. That's not... Okay, I guess I can't find it. I mean, per se. Maybe it's this station. I don't know. Okay, I guess. Okay, well, I can't really find the video, but they had an article. But needless to say, my high school or whatnot, I will only show pics because, again, I am not trying to dox myself. And this, I might also just in the recording by the time I get to edit this, because I do want to edit my podcast in the future, but I'll probably still censor this, just in case. But a large group of students on Monday for President's Day, maybe Friday, I can't remember, but anyway, a bunch of large group of students representing my high school, and well, they joined. They brought together another group of students from a neighboring town, from a high school in the neighboring town over, and performed a pretty successful protest. Again, I'll have to pull up the video because I think I had the video at one point. I just don't. I just had to find it for myself. It might have been. I can't remember having to open it up on, of all places. I'm also sorry for a little bit of lag on the face cam for those watching on the video portion of the podcast. Oh, that is not the profile I wanted to select. Wait. I should be there. Okay, I think I got it now. But I briefly talked about it with some of my friends, some of my it's online. Okay, I think I got it right here. But this is straight out of news station, not too far where I live in Jersey. I'm just gonna kind of lower just to make sure that isn't too loud.
We are the voice of our community, and we need to fight back now.
That was the message echoing through this morning. As students walk.
That is the neighboring town to that joined my hometown's high school, by the way.
Out of their classes, speaking out against recent ICE raids in New Jersey.
We are the voice of our community, and we need to fight back now.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be a much longer clip, but I'm just so I'm happy to see again I made a post on my old account on Blue Sky, but all I was know is that I know for a fact they're going to get detention or whatnot, but I hope that someone please do this, sneak in some pizza for them, because I love to see I love to see people, even grads, even high school undergrads, speaking out, because the shit that's going on in the country and whatnot, it's fucked up, and we need more voices. That's all we'll say on that matter. If I can just go ahead and try to find the next thing I want to talk about. Okay, now I do. All right. It took me a second. Yeah, this is why I'm glad if I have to do some organization, is just to at least get to why I wanted to discuss things. But for those of you who are listening, in this and are wondering, well, for those of you who are watching this on or listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast platform or whatnot, you might be wondering, why are the dates different and whatnot. Why is the date different, as far as the publishing date? Well, there is a reason for that. I'm going to pull this up right now on my alt account on my Blue Sky, and that has to do with my host. It has to do with me changing host for the podcast, because first and foremost, prior to last week, I was hosting my podcast on a platform called Substack, and needless to say, but let's go into a little bit further detail. I was when I selected Substack, it was out of cautious optimism, it was just a cautious pick, because I wanted something that would be cheap enough for me to host all my episodes on, and not have to worry about optics and whatnot. Well, and not have to worrying about having to switch platforms immediately or whatnot, because of incredibly out of touch shit, and that's exactly what happened here. I'm trying to find where. Okay, well, I need that, because that's not the thing I wanted to. Oop. No, I'm trying to pull this up right now. But basically, the TLDR is that Substack has been accused of hosting episodes, or have been hosting various different profiles on the platform that seem to be pretty linked to like neo-Nazi or just Nazi like agenda or whatnot. And the CEO, or at least the founders of the platform, had like spoke out against it, saying like, we're absolutely like we despise this, but like we don't want to censor that information. But this is the statement from Hamish McKenzie, one of those founders. Hi everyone, Chris Jaraj and I wanted to let you know we've heard and been listening to the views we're being expressed about how Substack should think about the presence of fringe voices on the platform, and particularly in this case, Nazi views. I just want to make it clear that we don't like Nazis either. We wish no one held those views. But some people do hold those and other extreme views. Given that we don't think that censorship, including those through demonetizing publications, makes the problem go away. In fact, it makes it worse. How is the question? How does it make it worse? Because again, this isn't like just light debate. This isn't so much. This isn't so much like a nonsensical argument. This isn't like this isn't like regular individuals like that are using the platform and for good uses. This is literally Nazi stuff that the platform is hosting, and it was enough to be like, yeah, I'm moving everything and whatnot. But the statement from Drew McWeeny on Blue Sky, really said best for how I feel about this stuff. I'm just currently trying to zoom in, but this is what they said on Blue Sky. This is Drew McWeeny's account. Censorship and not platforming something are not remotely the same, and this infuriating insistence on conflating the two is why I had zero more choice other than to leave Substack. And I totally agree. I don't want to have to know that I'm on a platform that is hosting literal Nazis, little Nazi propaganda or whatnot, or just any sympathetic voices to Nazis or whatnot. I don't want to be part of that. It's not good optics, and is why I made the decision to leave the platform. It's ultimately why I made the decision to leave the platform, because again, that is not who I am as a person. I don't like these people, these individuals, and I think they are sick, twisted motherfuckers. And I'm saying this as someone who was born into a Judeo-Christian household. Again, not that I actually am a religious individual nowadays, because that is not me. But I am saying this right now as someone who was born and raised in a Judeo-Christian household. I completely despise these motherfuckers. But going ahead and getting things on a little bit lighter of a subject, because I don't want to talk about it any more than I have to, because it will be mentally draining if I do. But the TLDR is that for those coming in this late into the episode or whatnot, my podcast used to be hosted on the platform, and because of incredibly out of touch optics, let me just make sure I'm defining the word right. because the platform hosting disgusting voices, that made me ultimately switch my hosting provider, and that's why I leave, and it's ultimately why I left Substack as a platform. And I won't go back to it until, like, at all, until there is major change, because I don't feel like my voice would be safe over there if I were to step back in right now. I don't have much else to discuss on this now, even though I just said that like a minute ago, but bear with me. I'm trying to go to the last thing I want to talk about, and that involves a game I played, a game that I started hearing about last year, more specifically around April or May of last year. Funny that it's literally around the same time that the shit with Colbert was happening and whatnot. But it involves a game that I play, that I finally finished the main story for. I mean, there's still, I still have to go through a ton of different arcs and whatnot. But for the most part, the game that I am referring to is none other than sorry, I'm trying to. But the game I'm trying to refer to is none other than the HundoLine Last Defense Academy, or I just refer to it as HundoLine. This was quite the interesting game to go into, because prior to November, I had never once played a Kodaka game. Kodaka, if anyone is wondering, that being hold on if I can get the name right. Kazutaka Kodaka, who is the series creator of the Danganronpa series, which I finally played in November. I'd known about Danganronpa for years and whatnot, like as far back as 2020, when a live streamer I know and had met in person during a GDQ played through the third mainline entry in Killing Harmony. But all I knew of going into HundoLine was that this was created by Kodaka, and also the series creator of the Zero Escape games, which I also briefly know a bit about. That's like, not to say that like I have played them, but now that I finally have played HundoLine, now that I finally have played Danganronpa, going into this was definitely a trip, to say the least, for the main story. It's not like a, but like the TLDR of is that basically a group of, let's say, 20 or so students or whatnot were selected to be deployed to enemy territory, which is believed to be the Earth or whatnot. And kind of reminded me a bit. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Gears of War 1. Or more specifically, like the prequel, which has yet to release. That's coming out this year in E-Day. Where on top of where after defending, so basically after defending it like against an attack in the Tokyo residential complex, or the Tokyo residential complex, which is where most of the main characters had lived until like they started until I'm about to mention. I just forgot what the fuck I was going on about, but they had a peaceful life in the complex until of course, the events that happened there that forced them to join the Last Defense Academy, which, in spite of what you may think to be what looks like a high school or whatnot, it's really not. It's more like a shelter, if you will, just in disguise as a high school. But you like but the weird thing is that they all still do student activities and whatnot. Or you can still do that if you should choose to do so. But what I will say is that the story got pretty interesting for me, like at times, because again, this is like I thought going into this was almost gonna feel like this was gonna be a bit of a Danganronpa situation, where we get classmates killing each other or whatnot, and it's not really that kind of vibe. You will be slaying enemies or whatnot, but that's actually for the location that everybody, including main character Takumi, fights off. What we'll say is that the system went with a. Well, sorry, I'm trying to get the best the best I possibly can. I was not going to this thing I haven't been super used to like visual novels and like strategy games and whatnot. Because growing up they weren't like some like things I was like actively like seeking out. Like I had heard of like some game series like Fire Emblem, like the strategy RPG space. I had heard of StarCraft and Halo Wars, and for the normal strategy non-RPG section, like Pigman, which I had played on stream back in September, I want to say. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly, but it was sometime last year I did play through Pikmin 1. But going into this, I didn't know what to really expect, considering that, like, a majority of this, outside of like the defensive battles or like offensive battles, the majority of this is still very much a visual novel. But I'll say like there's so much there is so much like story to this, which I was not quite expecting from a game labeled the HundoLine, Last Defense Academy. But yeah, this is one of those games that has a lot of endings, and now I say a lot, I mean there is a lot. Like there are over 100 endings to this, and that includes the main story ending, which is called Route Zero or First Scenario. I finally got to complete First Scenario on Friday. Well, when I say on Friday, I mean last Friday, when I was supposed to release an episode, but I never got a chance to because I needed time to merge the podcast into another provider for hosting and whatnot. But I'm just gonna try to scroll to like another screenshot or whatnot. I guess I'll just show like main characters here or whatnot. But if for those who are watching the video version of the podcast. But yeah, needless to say, I liked the story for what it is. I loved each like cast member. I thought it brought something interesting to the table. I went into this fully expecting like to just have like a stupid amount of fun playing this. I wasn't going into this saying, "Oh, this is going to be like best game of all time" or whatnot, because like it like I'm not going in because like my thing is that like just like to not go into this expecting of then like Stanley Kubrick level of perfections and whatnot. There is jank to be discovered and whatnot, like through some dialogue here and there, and of course some decisions you make, well, more specifically like Takumi can make out on the battlefield and whatnot. But again, I still have a little bit more. I still have more to go because I just finished playing the main story. But since there are 99 other endings, multiple arcs, it's definitely going to be a long while till I can finally say that I have 100% the entire game. But for just the main story, it is pretty damn fun. I loved all the eliminations, which which on the website, you just, like, for those who, again, watching the episode on YouTube and Spotify, you can see a little bit of the animations behind each of the characters on the official website. I was really happy with how things played out. I was not quite expecting things to turn out the way they did. As far as, like, some of my favorite characters go for like the main, like, cast, oh man, like I know I definitely have a soft spot for Takemaru. I probably say my favorite of, like, chaotic energy has to be Darumi. But I'll say, like, what I will say is that if you don't like fourth wall breaks, you're definitely not going to, like, have the most fun, like, rooting, like, for as a character. Again, like, if you don't like sudden fourth wall breaks, whatnot, and reference, and just, constant referencing, then you might not like her as a character. But again, that'll be dependent on if you're coming out from a series like Danganronpa, or like any insert, like, killing game series or whatnot, you might not be a huge fan of Darumi, like, as a character or whatnot. I will say Eito, like, Aotsuki, quite the villain, I'll say. I will not spoil when or where in the story, but I will say that they are quite the character. They are quite the character, like, throughout this whole game. Again, this is definitely going to be, like, quite a long playthrough that I totally wanted to try out ever since seeing footage of my buddy Johanian, who did a speedrun of Mario Kart Super Circuit for Summer Games Done Quick 2025. He played through this months ago, and he just finished another arc. I think he still has, like, 1 or 2 more arcs to go, and then he's pretty much done with the game. I can't quite remember, but I know he's done most of the story arcs for this game, and it is something that I'm, like, eagerly looking forward to finishing up, because, man, oh man, the lore for each of the characters. I was not totally sure how it would feel about Takumi as the main character, but after a while, I was like, okay, I kind of fuck with him. He's not too bad. He's not too bad as the main protagonist. I probably say, like, the most, like, one of the most fun characters of, like, the whole cast. Well, like when I say the most fun, I mean, like if we're like talking like comedic moments or whatnot through the main story, is when, like, the second to last Defense Academy finally makes it over to Last Defense Academy because of base being attacked and whatnot. And it has to do, and it's like the encounter between in Kurata, Kiyoshika, and Gaku. God damn, they were pretty fun. They were pretty fun. Like, they were pretty funny encounters. But there was again, like, this will be dependent on if you like the crass humor here. But there's a running, like, joke that extends from the first time that Takumi meets the members of the second to last Defense Academy. As I've already mentioned, Kurata, Uzuzuki, right here. And then this again, this is Kioshka Magadori. And I'm trying to get over to Gaku here on the website. It's gonna take me just a bit, but again, pretty funny bits of dialogue. But going back to Kioshka, like the whole running joke, back like when Takumi met the members of the Second Last Defense Academy, is like it's something about Kioshka and her sword, and like her sword in the Holy Jumanji sword, I don't know how to describe it, like partner, like sexual partners or whatnot, which like I was not really expecting to hear, like in the main story, and I knew going in there was definitely going to be a bit of crass humor, but of like that, but of like making love to like a samurai sword or whatnot was not on the bucket list on my bucket list playing this game. But it was a funny bit of humor there. I definitely know there are other arcs because I had known about this game for over a year. I can't remember saying over a year, even though like April/May has not passed yet, because that's technically when this game released. Even though it isn't past, like seeing some of the arcs from when Johan was playing through, like the Cult of Kumi arc, I'll say get pretty unhinged. Like I won't say real quick, but like they get really unhinged. And so needless to say, I'm going to have fun with some of them, like with some of the comedy routes, some of the with some of the more interesting like routes to of like the story, like more so. And again, since I mentioned that there's like over 100 different endings, they will be in those routes, of course. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't know why my website's so laggy as shit, but either way, it is something that I'm happily looking forward to getting back to playing. By the time I want to do another stream of it, because again, I had at the time of recording this, I have not live streamed this since the 13th. And it took me a good while to get through the final 10 days of the 100 days and whatnot, but I'm very happy that I finally got to play like this. It would have been nice. It would have been nice if this game had received a best strategy game nomination for the Game Awards, but never did. But at the very least, for one major game award show in the Golden Joysticks, they at least did give a nomination there for best narrative, which for hundreds of for tens to 100 hours of story content and whatnot. Yeah, it totally deserves it, in my opinion. Even though I said that don't expect this going into this to be Stanley Kubrick levels of amazing. It's anime jank, and I love it for being anime jank. But either way, this is it's a long investment, is what I'm saying. This is a long investment of a story. I wasn't I read somewhere before starting this episode that Kodaka and the team at 2Kyo Games, the developer of HundoLine, might actually put more stuff into the game, like more story content into the game, which would be insane. Because wouldn't it be an ample time to maybe spend making a sequel and waiting till years later? I don't know. But I know that's just my opinion on it. On whether or not they should do that or not. I know a couple months ago, since I just mentioned Danganronpa, there is a second game on the way. When I say second game, I mean a remake of the second game on the way. There's no there's no like set like release date, but last week there was an official trailer for the bundle. I'm sorry for like I'm sorry for like how loud that was, but either way, it's like a full ass remake of the second game in Goodbye Despair is coming out later this year, which also will include a new story arc, and also just completely remastered sprite completely redone sprite work and animations, which just from the footage that you're seeing right now for those watching on the video version of this podcast, night and day difference between when the game first released 14 years ago. Wow. Also, I forgot to bring out my Monokuma hoodie because I got that for Christmas. But yeah, either way, I'm whenever 2x2, which is the name of the remake for Danganronpa 2, that also includes the new story arc. Whenever Danganronpa 2x2 releases, I am sure to play it on my live stream and just have theories and whatnot. Well, if I want to delve into to theories, to theorizing about the rest of the playthrough and whatnot, I just remember being mesmerized by how things ended for the first game and second game, especially with the whole simulation shit in a Hope's Peak Academy. So but yeah, it's really this is such a franchise that I would love to expose to more people. I'm quite sad that I didn't get a chance to play it when in my high school years, because it would have been a fun time to actually play it in my high school years. But I'm at the very least glad that I discovered it during the pandemic, even though I didn't get a chance to play it for myself until November of 2025. But either way, I'm happy that I got into Danganronpa. I'm happy that I'm discussing Danganronpa, and more importantly, discussing other works from Kodaka, the creator of Danganronpa, and of course now, well, when I say now, I mean minutes earlier we was just discussing HundoLine, or the HundoLine Last Defense Academy, which was created by him and the Zero Escape series creator. If I can pull up the name, Kotaro Uchikoshi. Okay, Kotaro Uchikoshi is the name. Okay, but yeah, both of them are. If I'm right about this, they're both co-directors of the game. Both of them are game directors for HundoLine. Where the majority of the arcs are made by Uchikoshi, and then the main two story arcs are done by Kodaka. But again, I can't say for certain if I'm right about that. But oh man, this I'm looking forward to playing 2x2. But the photo I was just showing earlier is basically I guess you can say a premium edition or whatnot, or a limited edition bundle that you can pre-order that will have vinyl figures, maybe there's the game case comes in. That's pretty cute. It's a little designed like a suitcase, because of the whole aspect of because of the whole premise of the game taking place on an island and whatnot. For Goodbye Despair. But yeah, that is it for the episode for for number 3. I don't know if I will do another episode or if I'll do a double episode week again. Even though I started with like one episode a week a few weeks ago, and this is just the rarity of me doing 2 episodes a week. I mean, if y'all want me to make more episodes, I will happily do that. I will have to, of course, make time to record episodes and whatnot. And if I want to have people on, of course, I have to figure that shit out. But again, that's something for another day. But either way, I hope you all have a good, fantastic rest of your Friday. Well, when I say Friday, I mean your Saturday like morning, because technically this is like fucking midnight or whatnot of Saturday morning the 21st by the time you're watching this. But either way, I'm gonna leave it at that, and I will see you guys all for the next podcast episode, whenever that may be. Probably will be next Friday, but no guarantees. I might actually end up doing 2 episodes again next week. Who knows? Like, whoever knows. Because my frequency is, it's weird. It's weird for putting episodes, but at the very least, I'm just glad that I'm kind of keeping this a bit up on like a weekly basis and whatnot. And yeah, I will see you guys all for the next episode. Bye bye.